I meant to go back and see if there was an episode title.
It was Andale. I did go back before I set up while I was waiting for you guys. A
Interesting.
Andale.
Huh. Okay.
The old gunslinger got all the episodes up before the new season.
Oh, geez, you must have really snuck him in last minute.
I got them both up. So,
He's getting them up.
welcome to this episode of the Prestige Ish Media Podcast. I am your host, Craig Lake, and with me, my co host, no stranger to balloons in the butt. It's Dan McNair. Dan, how are you today?
I got to do something to soak up all that fresh milk and toilet water.
How about that? We are here to talk about Euphoria Season 3, Episode 1, Andale. It just aired. This is our instant reaction. We are hoping Jessica Z, our other co host, will join us, but she can be tardy sometimes. She's probably like wiping throw up off her kid or some various thing like that. Eleanor probably cassied herself in the hot tub or something. But for most people that are Euphoria fans, this is a long wait. For us who just finished Euphoria, this is a quick turnaround. Dan, what were your first thoughts on this season 3, episode 1, and a rating?
It was just odd where everything landed after the fast forward. And we talked with the boys about how you have to check in with all the characters. There were some characters we really didn't even get a check in or just a really small one. So it felt very odd after the first two seasons being bookended together. A lot of Rue's journey early on, I would have liked to see maybe more of the team. So it's a different show, but in a weird way, I feel fortunate that we got all these people back together to do it. It just feels like more a reunion special than like the same show that we just were watching. For starters, I'm starting off low. I gave it a 7.3.
Okay, and I have it as an 8. I actually really enjoy that it's almost like a new show. So I'm just accepting the premise. It's good we have some background with these characters, but we've got to jump forward in time. And so I'm just going to treat it like a totally new show, which in some ways defeats the purpose of our rewatch we just did, but or our first watch. But in other ways, I'm glad that I know the dynamics and I know the characters and stuff. But I think somebody could jump in on this season 3 having not watched what came before and maybe not have lost too much. And I think that's a positive. It's interesting to me. So
That should be good. As I was watching it, I was just wondering, they probably had a plan at the end of season two, and how far deviated what we got in season three is from maybe what they were penciling. How long ago did season two air? I don't even know offhand,
I
but it seems
think
like
it
there's a
was
pretty good
I
lapse in
think it was
between.
around like 22. It's
Okay.
been and there have been quite a lot of like almost start and stops with it. And so I feel like it probably did change. I haven't done enough background reading because when I was reading about the start and stops, like I hadn't watched the show, so I wasn't as in tune to them other than just seeing, hey, show's gonna start up again. Hey, no, it's not. Hey, yeah, it is. Hey, no, it's not. And ultimately we landed here. And I think it was a lot to get all these actors together. And then I don't know what we didn't see Kat yet. I don't know what an actress like her thinks she commands, but I would imagine the show would think maybe she doesn't command a lot based on the first episode. Like, I don't think anything was missed by not having every single character there. And then obviously, we know we have one key character that was deceased en route to the show, and then one probably after this season film, but we don't know if he plays any role in this season at all. That may be out there in articles and stuff. We really haven't read anything. For anybody listening, like we only saw the first trailer. I did see like the pre-rest of the season trailer after the end of this episode, but we have been doing the back watch, so we haven't really been focused on going forward. So if you're a big Euphoria head, you'll have to forgive us, but we're just new to this world and getting into it. So we could watch this season 3 with everybody at the same time. So to your point, Dan, we start with Rue in Mexico. I think we both probably caught on pretty quick. That was probably a drug bag in her in the back seat. No stranger to seeing her with a bag of drugs. but you can build a wall, but you can also maybe drive over it as we see this elaborate scheme meant for her to drive over the wall. I'm going to say this is probably her first time doing it. Maybe she was trying to do that instead of the balloon trick, but you definitely would want to have a reinforced bottom on your vehicle. I wasn't sure how off-road ready that vehicle looked to me. Like I would worry about getting a flat tire, but ultimately she teeters her way off and walks her way to Agua Dulce, Texas, which by my Spanish one skills is Sweetwater, Texas. Dan, what were your thoughts on the open?
It seemed bleak. This is, I think, the first time we've really been other out of Southern California with the show, except for maybe one of Jules runs into the city. So it looked and felt just very different.
Yeah, and I think I like that this is more of an adult show now, but you still have the foundation of these kids that you knew in high school that were adults then, to be clear, but as I will always point out. But yeah, I thought I liked this idea. I don't know that it was Breaking Bad-esque, but maybe there were notes of that. Certainly Breaking Bad's had opens like this that are like these different opens. So I don't mind the show using different muscles because I feel like the previous muscles that it used, while it was well produced and well done, like we didn't see a lot of the weird dream sequences. I don't know that we saw any this episode. So there's
Yeah, I don't think we did.
and so there's some things that like that, yeah, they were creative 5 years ago or when we watched the first season, okay, into the second season, but I like that the show's using new creative muscles. We meet Dahlia and her milk, which is the best milk Rue's ever tasted, as she curses in front of this little Christian girl. She tells his family she's working for a college newspaper on the problems at the border. It seems like that older daughter Daisy, when we watched this, is one, we don't get a screener, but two, when it first aired on HBO, like they didn't even have the title up yet. So luckily by the time we recorded, they had posted that up. But some of the IMDb stuff is a little loose early. So I tried to look up Daisy. She almost looked a little Sydney Sweeney-esque, but that's the older daughter that drove her into town. She seemed to be jealous of Rue, and Rue seemed to be jealous of her. Did you have any feelings on that family or the rest of that open?
Just that we spent a lot of time there, and it made me wonder. And as the episode progresses, Rue thinks about this family quite a bit. Is Daisy gonna come back into the fold?
Ooh, that's interesting. I hope she does.
And the other note I had is as Rue's driving a needle drop, we get Christopher Cross run like the wind. You're always asking me, is this yacht rock? Yes, Craig, that is yacht rock.
Okay, yeah, I did not know anything about it. Not since INXS have I been so
Jeez.
unsure of what I was listening to, but that is a good call out there. We end up with Rue like a 2 year time jump, which I think this time jump is maybe closer to 4 years. I'm not, you'd have to time lord me. I didn't map it out yet, but I do believe they said this was a 2 year time jump. So, assumedly, Rue's clean both now and at the time she's running the smoke shop, it seems like. And Lori shows up and tells her that she owes her like $43 million. I got to check the interest rate on that, but that interest on 10,000 seems crazy to me, even with compounding interest. Have you tried doing the math on that, Dan?
I think Lori was just going to hang out there a big number to get Rue to do her bidding, no matter what it is. We all knew it was going to be insurmountable. And you mentioned in watching season two, like this is going to come due at some point. And sure enough, here it is. It was like getting Lori in so early, I think was interesting, but I think it like sets the table pretty well for where we're at and what some of the motivations are. And I also thought Faye came back really quick because she was one of my lower tier players last season. I'm like, okay, I don't need a lot of Faye, but I think you like her.
I didn't say anything on episode 8, and you can get a shot here, but Faith's cheeks are underrated, and I'm not even a butt guy, but very underrated. But
She
also,
looks like, maybe I said it before, but a live action Rick and Morty character.
welcome to the show, Jessica Z. How are you this
Fresh out of the
evening?
shower.
No.
And into the
It's just my
frying
wet
pan.
look.
How are you doing this evening, Z?
Good. I didn't set up my microphone and stuff because if I do, the kids will notice
All
that
good.
I'm doing something for myself and they'll ruin it.
We're all good. You got an initial thoughts and rating on this episode?
I feel like this episode was all over the place.
So Dan was a
No,
7.3.
don't
Is
tell me, don't
Yeah,
tell
oh,
me.
okay.
I
I was
was
a
thinking like a
3.7.
6.
Okay, that's a fair. I gave it an 8. Dan gave it a 7.3, I think. And then or what'd you say? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can give it a 6. It's your prerogative.
Is that too high to start for the season?
I don't think it should be lower than that.
Really?
I really liked the episode. I think this is my favorite episode of Euphoria so far.
Craig just likes that he doesn't feel so guilty that all the female actresses are that disparagingly younger.
Craig, you had texted me about your favorite scene being Lexi, like at her job in Hollywood.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, so you're giving it a 6. We just talked about the open with Rue in Mexico and being tied in as this mule for Lori. And then we're just mentioning the Fae of it all. I'd seen an article where they mentioned like Fae and Rue spending a lot of time together. So that wasn't a surprise to me, but it wasn't a surprise from last season. Like you would think there would be some connective tissue between them and Fezco, with Fezco out of the picture, unless they just completely got rid of her. What did you make of Faye being involved early, Z?
I was happy to see her back. I think she's
You missed
great
me talking
for.
about that. Was just talking about I'd like to see her back. Continue.
She's always a good comic relief.
And I do think now I had said that there weren't any of those like weird dream cutaway sequences. The only one I can think of though was when she talked about what happens when those balloons break, that you die. And to me, that dark-haired lady almost looked like Faye. Like I almost thought they killed Faye right away. That's how you took it, Dan?
Yeah, and the lighting and imagery was different, but the face was the same. It was just like Faye with a auburn wig or something.
Yeah, that confused me. Did that look like Faye to you when they showed that person dying from drugs, Z?
I was pretty sure I saw like Sydney Sweeney as 3 different people in this episode. And then I also was like, wait, is that Faye or Sydney Sweeney? I don't know. Everyone's starting to look the same. I don't know what's going on. Like maybe they all tried to look younger for the season and
Did
all
you
went to
This
have
is
you
what
tried
happens when you watch the show on fentanyl.
have you tried looking at their boobs, Z, to determine between them? I found that to be a useful resource.
it only helps when they show them.
It's all just AI.
We find out Rue's real name is Ruby. Had we heard that before anywhere?
That was news to me.
Yeah, I thought Ruby is actually a cooler name than Rue.
It
So
makes Rue like cuter now because it's just like a shortening of Ruby. Otherwise, it's just sort of like a
it's a
gay
weird name
nickname.
by itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you make of smuggling fentanyl, Z? Did you could do it intestines versus just your butt? What do you make of this technique they're doing?
I thought they always swallowed them and then shit them out.
Is
You
that
thought they
the
went up the butt?
I thought it was just like one bag up the butt. I didn't know they
What
were
would be the point of that?
I didn't know that you had to swallow a whole garden of fentanyl.
I
I
didn't.
think like when you hear cavity search,
Yeah, like I'm thinking, you're smuggling one, maybe a loose lip sink ships is carrying two or three in there, but I couldn't have imagined in my brain flying 20 balls of fentanyl down my gullet. That wasn't on my bingo card. Z?
I mean, you guys don't watch Law and Order?
No, not in a while. So we do find out that Wayne likes Faye, that he has a safe. So just I think that's out there for the future. Rue is an Uber driver. I might call her a Ruber, if you will. We get her Ubering Batman and meeting up with Lexi, who lectures her on her long-term goals. Anything on the hilarity of my Ruber reference or reconnecting with Lexi, Dan?
I was actually wondering if you were the real Batman getting Ubered over to the Walk of Fame. I did think it was funny in Lexi's talk how she's judging the Christians for being judgmental.
Yeah,
Like,
I wasn't sure if you caught that or not, but she said she wouldn't be friends with a Christian because they are judgmental. I thought this is an example of good dual repartee.
then we get confirmation that Fez is alive. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I still think we might get the Z prison phone call at some point, but I do think that was one of her better predictions.
Woo!
What did it's not necessarily coming true, but it still was
Come on.
very good impression from you. Z, any thoughts on Lexi or what she's doing?
No, nothing from me.
I
What do
thought it
you
was
think?
I thought it was interesting that she's talking about how busy she is as this writer, and you know that this is how people start out. But obviously, she's just running coffee. She's not in the room. I did think it was funny how she went from not being in the room to giving directorial notes. We get introduced to this new character. Do you have his name at all, Dan? The heartthrob?
Oh, that's Dylan Reed, but I was going
Okay.
to go back to Patty Lance.
So is that Chelsea Handler?
It's Sharon Stone.
Okay, there's a few of them that she could have been the one from Only Murders. They all look alike to me. What's your,
Elizabeth Banks. That's who that is from.
I,
Wait,
I,
no. Who am I thinking of?
no, I also think that looks like her. And then who was in Only Murders?
Jane
Lionel
Lynch.
Tate or Tay Leone?
Leone.
You
Okay,
put
Oh yeah.
I can
you
see getting them
you
confused.
put them four in a lineup with the same haircut from far away, I'm gonna be confused for sure.
Well, and I gotta say, as they're walking through that writer's room and you actually get the blue-haired writer, I
Yes,
think that was
yes.
Craig product placement right there.
No,
You
I'm
manifested that.
no, I think it's hilarious. And for it's not what you normally get. And so I'm assuming that's already why it got bad reviews is it's two jokes were made in succession and the whole show's being panned already.
Wait, what jokes?
That she couldn't be friends with Christians because
Yeah.
they're too judgmental, and then having all the blue-haired, nose-ringed, pierced
Oh, was that
writers.
a joke?
It is what it is. They are who we thought they were, and you let them off the hook. Uh,
Listen to our boys coverage and Craig talk about the writer's room, and then you actually get to see it in this show.
no, it's got to be the boys' writer room. In fact, though, it is the show itself is called, I think, L.A. Nights, which is a night opera, which I assume would be Dan Fair. Did it look like Lexi lived in Melrose Place to you, Dan, or wherever Jane Lynch's apartment was in LA? Like the same set, one of the two.
They just have one apartment complex in LA. There's a pool in the middle.
We do see Cassie, Sydney Sweeney doing her dog. How much is that dog in the window thing? We've been using as part of our prestigious content early. Did not know like how this would fly with Nate. I did think it was interesting her using the dynamic of don't underestimate me. Did that friend she was talking to look like the old babysitter friend of Maddie? That's who that person
That's
at the
what
pool looked like to
that's
me.
what I thought. And I'm like, did Maddie leave? So like she took over for
I
Maddie
don't
babysitting that kid?
maybe I don't think she's babysitting, but maybe they just became friends because there were some connections to them both cheating on their friends. Dan?
Being as it's been a while, I actually thought it was the girl maybe that at the end of the play was yelling for Maddie to beat the shit out of her. That now it's been
Oh,
a couple of years and they were friends. Like,
to
because she's got a weird mouth.
she
I thought about that too, but I couldn't remember for the life of me
to
what that girl
me,
looked like.
no, to me, she looked older and longer than that girl. But cameras can play many tricks. But I thought she looked a lot closer to the babysitter chick. But we'll see when we can dive into IMDb a little bit better. We see Nate with this, I think, expensive car. They're in this nice house, but it's not. It hasn't been remodeled, especially to Cassie's preferences. And we find out that he's struggling taking over his dad's business, that it's hard to build. He's trying to convince these investors to put in new like seating rounds of someone who's had to go through that personally, but maybe by a little bit more legitimate means. It definitely is pressureful and difficult. And I found myself thinking as I was watching this that I'm glad I'm not dating anyone while I'm going through this personal hell. Your thoughts, Dan?
So I had a take on Nate and the investors meeting that it was like all just a show and there's not normally all that construction equipment, but he just put it on to try and show the investor how much ground they were breaking. Was that just in my head? Have I watched too many seasons of Arrested Development, or was
No,
that
no, it
in
seemed like he
play?
told the worker, like, go out there and pretend like you guys are doing something. So I think that's fair to say. Z, any thoughts there on new Nate? Dan's a big fan of new Nate.
I thought he was very No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Have you seen it?
No.
What the
So what's it mean?
like his voice is the exact same as that main character. And he also wears denim and he also has a lot of hair. Obviously, Nate styles it a bit better, but I'm pretty sure he could make it look like the guy.
Did it look like a wig though? And was this right post Frankenstein or something? Did he shave his head for Frankenstein?
You
So
guys haven't even seen the like flipping a coin thing?
I have not seen No Country for Old Men. I've only seen is it the I Drink Your Milkshake dog and pony show?
That's There Will Be Blood. Totally different
They're
movie.
both the same movie to me.
You wouldn't know, you haven't seen it, but I recommend it.
After I finish round 2 of that Diane, I'll jump in that one. No, that might be one I watch. And I will watch Righteous Gemstones at some point. So Z, did this was Jacob Elordi? Did who he was? Like I did not like I knew the name, but I didn't know Nate was him. I hadn't put them together. Did
Him. Who is him?
Jacob Elordi or whoever that actor is? So he was in Frankenstein, and he was the one Margot Robbie had a big boner for in Wuthering Heights. Like
Never seen those.
okay. Anyway, he's apparently a big deal. So we've been talking about Sydney Sweeney and Rue, but he's also becoming a bigger star in his own right. So yeah, I just thought the angle of Cassie saying "Don't underestimate me" was interesting as she started pitching her idea to do OnlyFans as a way to fund her wedding. I thought it was interesting. She had like almost a business plan or like a pitch deck specifically for asking him for things for the wedding. Where do you stand on Nate and Cassie, Z? Do you think it's fair for Cassie to have the expectations that she has having gotten this relationship with him? Do you think she should be more understanding of Nate's financial situation? Where do you land on this?
Weren't they like fresh out of college?
I think they're at least 4 years out of high school. I assume he had to have taken over the business right away because his dad was taken away in handcuffs. Dan, do you have any takes here on expectations versus delivery here?
I thought it was interesting that they were together because the last we see, some time has passed. I'm not a Nate fan, but this does seem to be a different version of Nate. Like when he's not getting angry, even though he's upset at the million candle dinner. But we know he has it in him for this violent history. But with them together, it makes me wonder like where Maddie is on all of this, even though some years have passed, that was just the last we saw of them. So it made a lot of questions for me.
We get like a side story that Jules is a sugar baby. I think it's Maddie that tells her that like that sounds like a chef who doesn't cook or something, like a sugar baby that doesn't have sex or whatever. I thought that was funny. It seems like Maddie, while she has this prestigious job, isn't making like a lot of money for what she's doing, which is talent handling, not as bad as that sounds. And then we see a meeting with Ollie and Rue starts talking. So I haven't gone through a 12-step program or what's in them, but apparently Rue in 4 years has made it through 2 steps, God bless her, and she's struggling with the third. And he eventually kind of walks her through believing in something bigger than herself, specifically God, and she has issues with them talking about men laying together in the Bible, but she says gays. And Ali has this quote that he doesn't know much about war, but he knows that war ain't the time for butt sex. That is another notable quotable. And as Rue just immediately on the spot decides she's going to believe in God, he says the miracles have begun. What did you think of this scene?
I was looking up to see who that old lady was next to Cassie at the pool.
Yeah, I don't think all the IMDb stuff is like fresh yet.
But I wanted to see that girl's face who was
Well,
funny in the bathroom and stuff. I think it might be her.
let's pretend
That's what
like
I
we're doing
said.
a podcast. Dan, any thoughts on that?
I like seeing Ollie here. I'm wondering how many lies Rue's telling because she's obviously not being straight with Lexi. And
Right.
she talks about Gia's doing really well or stuff like that, but I got the impression she hasn't even seen Gia because she's got this whole lifestyle working for Lori.
Let's to be fair to Rue, she's being like forced into labor. So it does seem like she's clean. Like it doesn't seem like she's using it all. So what do you do when you're being held at gunpoint to work? I don't know if I can totally blame her for not being totally honest about that as long as she's doing all the other steps in her life right. Is that a fair assertion for me, or how do you stand on her like being forced to work versus the type of work she's doing?
Just knowing her history and if there's some lies going on, it seems like a slippery slope for this character. So I'm wondering what she's telling her sponsor here, Ali, that she's supposed to, like, if she is living clean and everything, good for her. And yeah, to your point, you can't really say, but I am a mule running drugs back and forth over the border. But you would think that would be a hard meeting to take if you can't be fully transparent with somebody like that.
I don't know. I think if she's being 100% clean, like she may have some conflicts and she's just now potentially maybe finding religion that may convict her in different ways to tell the truth. That's yet to be seen. But up till then, without religion in her life, if she knows she's doing what she can to do the right things, I could understand how the character could engage both ways.
And
Go ahead.
here, I thought it was interesting again. She brings up the family in Texas. I think she brings them up to Lexi. She brings them up to Ollie because this is a little bit of her relationship with God based on what she witnessed with those people and also the cutting out of the technology at the same time.
Yeah, and I will say too, it's just a little interesting. That was like what Fez had pitched to Lexi as like a dream life was like having a
Yeah.
farm with goats and stuff. So I don't know how intentional those things were, but it's just an interesting through line. So we see Wayne is going to make chicken for Faye. He cuts the head off the chicken and orders Faye around and orders Rue on the special drug run. What did you make of Wayne, Jessica? Did you think Wayne was a good match for Faye?
I think Wayne talks to Rue the same way. Gary, actually, how I talk to Gary on the phone. But
I would
I
believe that.
think I don't know, the other guy was like such a simp for her. And this guy's like the opposite. And
He's definitely better looking than General Custard was, I'll say that.
she's not strong enough, like mentally, to live with these people. She needs to get away. Rue just dragged her further down too.
Oh my god. So Rue has this special drop off at this house at the top of a hill. Real beautiful shot, I think. She's in this house with this guy. I'm not sure who that actor was. I was wondering if it was Skinny Ludacris, but I don't think it is. But he's gotten so skinny, it's like a mother's milk situation. So Rue,
Mother's milk's down to skim.
so Rue's got to go pee allegedly. Do we think she really had to go? I think she probably had to go pee, but we know what issues she has with her bladder for crying out loud. But she immediately proceeds to around. There is the girl in the bathroom with the big boobs, or the new boobs, I should say. And then ultimately we find Rue just dancing with all the girls, and we're introduced to Alamo Brown. Dan, your shots first on Alamo Brown, then we'll bounce it back to Z.
Did you recognize the actor?
I did not recognize him, no.
It's Mr. Echo from Lost.
Okay. I barely remember him. Was he the big dude that was on the other island?
He was on the tail end of the plane. He was like a Nigerian priest.
But he was on the other side where the others were? Or
Well,
was
the tail end section where they crashed and had to like meet up with
so
everybody.
they meet up and then he's the one when they're like in the hole is when we first meet him or whatever?
Along those lines. Yes,
Okay.
but no, but
As
yes.
close as I'm going to get on a single watch of 26 episodes a season.
Yeah, it was
Cool.
good to see Mr. Echo, a very different role for him, but he's got the hottest commodity around. Let's see what the man has to say.
Z, what did you think of Alamo Brown?
I think she just keeps like climbing the ladder of people not to get involved with. I
It's
think
like Grand Theft Auto.
Do we think that this is a step up from Lori, though? Probably. I think this
a
is.
step up, like more dangerous.
No, I think less dangerous and more more opportunity. Me personally.
Lori has like idiots working for her, but like this guy has someone that if, when he wants to find you, they're gonna find you.
Yeah, but she's like swallowing balloons and running her butt over the border.
Lori's not putting an apple on her head and shooting at her.
Yeah. Craig, you have a very low threshold for
Well, I'll say this:
the
it's gonna be no surprise to anyone that I'd much rather be around women than shove drugs up my butt, or either which way they go.
Does this remind you of when Dan was your manager?
It does, yeah. He definitely used to wear the same underwear.
Except it was like the Nintendo light gun that I was aiming at his head.
Yeah, I was wondering what the duck hunt gun.
Yes.
Yeah, he tried to hit a hacky sack off my head once and tickled a fat kid. That's about as close as we got to girls at the video game store. So, yeah, I thought Alamo Brown was an interesting character. Before you jumped on, Z, Dan and I talked about how the season almost feels like a different show, which I like that. Does this feel like a different show to you? And obviously, you're not loving it. What didn't you like about this episode?
Yeah, it reminds me of the Landman.
Okay.
I've never seen that. I just know that people are watching it, or they were watching it last year.
Do
I
you
don't
want
know.
to share with our listeners what you're eating this evening?
You got a baguette that you're raw dogging?
A blueberry bagel.
It looks like a block of cheese.
No, it's just what's left of my bagel.
Hunk of cheese. Go ahead, Z. What else you got?
It does feel like a different show. I don't think that. So I think it's supposed to be 7 years in the future.
I
I
was
don't.
guessing 4, but I don't know. You could be
I
more right than I am.
I just googled it. It came up in Google when I was trying to figure out who that
When you
chick
were
was.
busy commentating on the show you're on. Go ahead.
Yeah, when I was trying to figure out who that chick was. For Dan to confirm that he was right, I don't think people look like Maddie doesn't look old. You said she was gonna look old. She doesn't. She looks the
No,
same.
I think, yeah. So there was some chatter online about one, Maddie is 35 in real life, and two, that she was going to look old. And I thought she looked very good on the show. So I don't know if people saw it at the premiere and she looked a little rough or what people aren't
Probably were
saying.
looking at Natasha Leone and thought that's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what all is going on there. But what I will say is I thought Maddie did look good this episode, to your point. So that's a fair take.
I wonder what's going on with this show where like all of the cast members are like having drug issues.
In fake life, right?
No, like in real life.
I don't know that if that's true. Like, I don't think Zendaya has a drug
Not
issue.
all of them, yeah, but I don't know. Now Natasha Leone ends a 20-year career of being sober,
We haven't seen her yet on the show.
but she's gonna be on the show.
Okay. I don't think we can blame the show on that. So
I
probably
don't know.
it's probably because you didn't watch Poker Face. So he says he runs 5 of the dirtiest strip clubs. The quote was fully nude and always lewd. I just thought that was a little bit funny. I did tie this together, but the show ties it together more clearly. Maddie is not only does she handle actors, but she also handles influencers. And we see Cassie wanting this attention on social media. And she is looking at all of Maddie's posts before that dinner with Nate. So that is where the Maddie factor does come in with Cassie. So I don't know if it's jealousy or she wishes that Maddie could help her or what that tie-in is yet. But it is a factor. Cassie at dinner brings up her $50,000 worth of flowers. We get the conversation with Nate that you want to sell your body for floral arrangements. But she says, then we have a really big problem because I don't want to have a ghetto wedding. So she teases possibly breaking up with her. Do you think this was some realization of the quote she had, Dan, where she said, don't underestimate me? It does seem like she's maybe navigating Nate better than we thought she might be able to.
Yeah, I agree. I think she is actually prepared with a reasoned argument. And is it weird you didn't get the boobs there?
I noticed on the pre-episode it just said strong caution concerned or something, but there was no nudity, but I feel like there had to have been nudity at that pool party. We saw boobs, so that's weird that they
Yeah.
didn't have that warning on there, but it might have been because it aired so early it didn't have all the warnings. But yeah, I don't know. We did get a quote here, which is no face and no boobs at the same time for him. What did you think of this, Z? Do you think it's a fair request from her as somebody that notoriously had an elaborate wedding? Or do you think Cassie's handling herself okay with Nate? What do you think's going on here?
I think she's an idiot. I think that it's like a slippery slope what she's doing. We saw this with Kat. Like she's trying to steal Kat's life and her story. And also Nate like just sees an opportunity to fix his shortcomings with exploiting his hot wife.
Yeah, I don't know if he was quite there yet, but I think he was. You could see maybe the wheels turning. What's that?
But no,
Well, we
like
don't we don't see any realization of it, and he doesn't really want her to do it, but
he agrees
maybe
to it though, right?
he does agree. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we're seeing like the beginnings of the wheels turning that maybe it could help him, but I don't know that it's in an instantaneous
It's his
switch.
wedding too. It's helping him 50% him, 50% her.
Yeah, I would just say I
Not
would
just
want
her wedding.
I would want to make sure if I was marrying someone of that caliber, if the bill was 50 on the flowers, you figure it out.
Fifty
How
thousand
much
dollars
would
is
you pay in
ridiculous.
flowers to marry Sydney Sweeney, Craig?
There's no amount I wouldn't pay, but I'd obviously have to earn the money, not by ruining myself. But
But would you
I would
only
put
for
myself in
yourself?
Rue's position to marry Sydney Sweetie. Yes.
You would like work for a guy that owns strip clubs?
Or I would swallow 20 balls of Fent.
Balls of what?
So we see, I think it was Tish who was dead. That was the one I think that had the fake boobs.
I thought that was Sydney Sweeney. I really did.
She had got the drugs from one of the guys that worked there. But the close up of her, like the back was a real body, but the side shot definitely looked like a doll with foam. Like at first, like if you read, right, Dan, you did see that
I
too?
thought that was going to be our dream sequence.
Okay. Yeah. I thought it was like a sex doll. I was wondering what was coming out of its mouth.
You can like Narcan her, right? She doesn't have to die.
I
I
thought that's where Rue was going to come in and save the day and get the job.
Oh, that's interesting.
Instead, she was just in there.
Yeah, no, Rue was just screwing around. She was still there for
Hey,
some reason.
wake up.
She stole my bit. I did think
I'm
it was
checking for a pulse, you guys. Don't be ridiculous.
Z.
There's no pulse in her boobs.
Not what she was doing.
Not me, it was Rue.
So Rue, I thought it was interesting. She has this meeting. They're confronting her if she was involved. I think she very, correctly, but apparently to them, denies culpability because why would she hang around if she knew that's what was happening? And she talks about believing in God and her one day having her own slice of heaven. And where I think it makes sense to Rue is that she feels trapped, where this seems more like she's asking for the job, where yes, she did originally ask for the job with Lori, but she didn't ask for her mom to flush all her drugs down the toilet. So it's just a hellish situation. I don't know. But we end up with it's William Tell, right? Tell, Dan, is that the old story with the
It
apple?
is. I wanted to ask you one other question though.
Yeah, go for it.
So we got Mr. Echo, we
Yep.
got Skinny Ludacris.
Okay.
Tell me the third guy. The third guy.
Beast mode, it's Marshawn Lynch.
There we go. Yeah, I
Now,
was
do you know why
expecting
he
him.
did this show?
This was a total surprise to me.
He's just there so he doesn't get fined. That's why he's there. So yeah, I did see Marshawn Lynch. I did notice him right away. By seeing fake Ludacris, I was already on the prowl for notable potables. And we get this thing where he shot the apple off of her head. He's testing for wind. It is very windy. And I think
Thankfully, Faye wasn't there to fart out a cross stream.
Yeah, no kidding. Farts more than Gary's sister, for crying out loud. But we did get, I think he said like she's a straight tweaker or something. Marshawn Lynch had his one drop line that was actually a very effective line. And you see that Rue is just so happy. And you got to think for her because of how this was like placed. Don't you think for her own experience, this is her confirmation of God? It seems like that's how this is going to play out. How did you read that, Dan?
I don't know that I took the God into it, but that is interesting. I was thinking along the scenes or along the lines of that scene in Fight Club where they get the one guy at the convenience store convinced he's going to die, and they're talking about tomorrow he's going to wake up and bread's going to taste better, and like we've given him a gift, like the gift of life. And I thought she was feeling some of that.
Yeah, the only reason I go the other angle is it's people, especially people like trying to believe in something like that, might say something like, God, give me a sign. And that's how Alamo Brown sets it up for. If you're, let's see if God believes in you, I think is what he says. And I do think that's going to be a factor for going forward. What did you think of the old Apple scene?
She's nuts. And I honestly thought, okay, if she wasn't the main character, like it would have been great if he just shot her. Because I feel like that's what would have happened in real life. But it's nice that they want to take this little adventure this season.
Yeah, and I don't know, like I'll have to do more reading as a good host, but I don't know if this is going to be the last season for sure. It seems so hard to get this season to the table. You would think it might be, or at least for a while again. So wrapping up, I had a really good time. This is, I think, one of my favorite episodes of the show ever. I enjoy this show more now, and I'm looking forward to next week. Any last comments from you, Z?
I'm excited for the season. I was really like thrown off at first with this. I thought the whole drug thing was going to be over because she went home at the end of last season. And the little guy, I'm pretty sure he died. And
Definitely died.
so I thought that, like, I don't know, but the story is definitely staying in the crime world and it's getting exciting. It's just so different. I'm excited though. I think
Dan, what
Maddie
about you?
still looks great.
What's that?
I think Maddie just looks great.
She does. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this was like an interesting like snippet and it has a lot of possibilities. And I think they focused mostly along storylines I'm interested in. Once we get Kat coming back and Jules, and who knows if Ethan's around or some of those other people,
No
like
cat.
I wonder how much it's gonna hold my interest.
Yeah, I don't know if we get those characters, and I hope we don't. I know we're gonna get Jules, but past that, I hope they stick to this core that we've seen this episode, and then obviously the addition of Jules into the mix. I could honestly do without Jules, but that's just me. Just because I think the stuff with her and Rue is just a nightmare. Like she's fine on her own if they put her in a different storyline, but I don't want to see the another round of Rue and Jules. I can't take it. Although Ruby and Jules is funny.
I think she's going to run into Jules at by working for this guy because I think Jules is going to be sucked into stuff that's like way over her head.
We do
Being
know
a sugar baby.
Yeah, we do know Jules sucking and heads go hand in hand. That kind of with her
And
body count. Go ahead.
also,
There's no way that
ago,
Jules is gonna work for Alamo because she doesn't have the most coveted resource.
That is true, but
it's
she has crude oil. It has to be refined. Z, go ahead.
it's just been like I've been targeted by body positive actress news and so Kat's not returning because they couldn't come to an agreement on her storyline going past the fat friend.
Yeah.
So we don't get to see her.
Yeah, I don't think that hurts my feelings, certainly. I'm going to say the only thing really sitting out with her that we don't really get an answer to is who is that guy in season one, the dark donor or whatever it was that didn't reveal himself.
I thought it was
The
Ethan.
pay pig?
We got several pay pigs, but there was like a dark pay pig that
The one she hung up on.
the one that Z accused of being the principal or whatever.
Oh, we
I don't think we ever got a payoff to that.
let me see if the principal's in it this year. He's in prison with Fesco for porn.
And
Definitely with the
Kel
Nate's
Jacobs
dad.
could be in
Yeah.
prison with Fesco too.
We're gonna get a call from Fezco about Cal Jacobs. He's gonna say, "Don't worry, Rue, I took care of it."
And Cal and the principal are bunkies, and the principal's tell me again about one of your videos.
Wait, after seeing Cal in that beat down area with the fun he was having toward at the end of state, he's probably doing fine in prison. He's probably hanging in there. I would
Having the time of
say
my life.
he eats what he kills. What do you say to that?
Bake a pie, eat a pie.